I think it's absolutely about life and living and how rich life can be if you give it a chance.
How was Susan Sarandon working with her?
This is my second time working with Susan, and I'm really looking forward to a third time. So
Yes. What does this film say about the family dynamic?
look, no family is perfect, but with every family, the important thing is forgiveness and kindness and empathy and being grateful for what you have.
Would you assist in real life suicide?
Would I assist suicide?
Yes.
I really have no idea. It's like when you lose people, and you know we've all lost people in our families, and every time that happens, you should remind yourself how lucky you are to have the ones that you have, and be grateful for the ones that you lost. And every day is important. Live it as best you can.
This is a controversial subject, of course, so how is the movie really continuing the conversation around euthanasia?
Look, for me, I don't think it's a film that particularly has a viewpoint on euthanasia. I think it's for you to decide what you feel at the end of it. Personally, I think people should have a choice, but I don't think the film necessarily has that viewpoint. I think it's pretty neutral.
The film also touches on the subject of secrets and how that can kind of affect family and relationships.
Every family has secrets.
Exactly. Yes, every family has secrets.
And but I think every family understands the dynamics between mothers and daughters. That can be very fraught and very interesting and very rich, and quite unlike any other relationships that we know. And,
How was it to work with Susan?
I love Susan. This is my second film with her, and I hope we do a third one.
I've got to ask a fun question because I did read that because you know when you're not working in Hollywood, you have a farm.
Yeah.
Now, and you name some of your farm animals after colleagues that you work with. Is that true?
Yeah.
And what about Susan Sarandon? Not yet.
We had a chicken called Susan Sarandon, but chickens don't live that long. And did you just goose me? I hate that man. He's only growing a beard because he wants to look like me. You know this?
I think so.
I mean, obviously you take inspiration from a lot of things, but do you look at the original and see what sort of beats that had in sort of the literal sense and otherwise?
No, I didn't. I purposefully didn't watch the original. I fought a lot of temptations, like late at night. You know, the beginning of these sorts of films, it's quite stressful because there's a lot of weight. Literally, in this case, it's a very heavy topic film and very sensitive, very emotive, personal subject. And so I think, well, shit, how does someone else approach this? You know, what have they done? But I sort of fought against that. And you know, Roger's a phenomenal director and a really very strong presence actually in kind of post-production, and really allowed space to create something that felt like, I think feels like another character hopefully in the film, that it's not passing judgment, it's not telling you what to think, it's, you know, it's sort of there with you while the film's unfolding, and the music is learning the story as we're learning it as an audience, hopefully. And I think that's a real, if that's what comes across, that was the intention, and you know that was led through Roger's direction to make it non-judgmental. You know.
Excellent. And you're already an accomplished composer, but you've worked on some massive films in the music department.
Yeah.
So are you able to bring, I mean, obviously the Wonder Woman, one of them, off the top of my head. Do you bring your sort of experiences from working on big budget productions like that and use them in sort of the smaller stuff and as a composer rather than a solo instrument?
Yeah, absolutely do. And I think it also works the other way around. You know, that these huge tentpole films need some kind of indie, sly tricks around the side. Yeah, you know, to get that kind of edge around everything just being like, you need some kind of quirk and shape to it, and they absolutely inspire each other. They absolutely work together. You wouldn't have a $100 million film score for a film like this. It's the wrong platform, and you wouldn't have a small budget film score for a huge tentpole. But the two do work. They're both dramatically trying to tell a story, and as long as you can focus on the story of the film, I think you can kind of get your way through it. So.
And how does it work for something like this? Do they bring you on very early on at sort of script stage, or do you have the final product in front of you and then you work from that?
So in this case, actually, I was on as they were editing. A few other films I've worked on, I've been on from the script stage. Some I've been writing music on set for on-set playback. But this one, it was after they'd filmed, after they'd started the edit, and some previous cello music of mine as a cellist was in the temp score, so I was brought on because it was working in the temp, but they couldn't just use temp music. So,
ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.